Hey there everyone, welcome to the video. You're looking at a build called the Devourer. What is the Devourer? It revolves around two basic aspects: secant filaments and collective obligation. What do they do? Secant filaments, when you cast an empowering rift, it will grant you Devour. Damage dealt by you and your allies from within your empowering rift will disrupt champions, which is overload. It will disrupt overload champions, and this applies to all weapons unless the seasonal artifact disagrees. Say I had an auto rifle on. Because I have anti-barrier auto rifle, when I cast my empowering rift, it will not override this champion mod. Remember that. That is very important. If you're using something and it's not working with overload, this could be why. Back to collective obligation. Why collective obligation? This weapon magazine is automatically reloaded when you gain Devour. That is a key point, because when you cast your rift, you gain Devour, and then if you get a kill, it refreshes Devour, reloading your gun, therefore having an infinite loop of just continually shooting. You really never had to reload. And then for the intrinsic trait, Void Leech, this weapon leeches void debuffs when damaging targets that are suppressed, weakened, or volatile. Once charged, hold R to swap firing modes. In this mode, damage from this weapon applies the same void debuffs that were leeched. So how would you apply these debuffs? Easy way is your grenade. What do I mean by my grenade? Realistically, anything else is up to you. Your grenade is the main key point of this. This is what will apply your debuffs, and this is what collective obligation will be pulling from. So you want suppressor nades. So suppression is, it prevents the targets from using their abilities for a short time. Basically what it does is, if you ever seen disorienting grenades from grenade launchers, it's kind of the same effect, but this is a little bit stronger and it lasts longer. Now what else do you want with this? You want Echo of Undermining. Your void grenades weaken targets. This gives us another debuff to add to our collective obligation for just throwing an 8. And then we want defeating targets with grenades, grant volatile rounds to your void weapons. Now you might be saying, but if it's giving it volatile rounds, then there's no need for the leech. That's where you're wrong. The way collective obligation works is that even if, let's say you're using Void Leech, like the actual perk, shooting a target, and it's applying the buffs you would already gather. Once the Void Leech is emptied, you have a very short window to keep shooting the target and re-grab those things. So essentially having an infinite loop of these effects. Now, if you have volatile rounds in your collective obligation, theoretically what it's going to do is you're going to be shooting it with the volatile rounds and collecting the Void Leech from the volatile rounds at the same time. In theory, adding to your cycle even more. Those are really the main things of this, and I will say this is pretty good and high-end content, not gonna lie, because you're gaining overload, which allows any weapon to take advantage of overload, which means you don't have to worry about listing like one champion mod, and you can use another champion mod if you wanted to. Theoretically, it's up to you. Like, I could have Riptide, which is dedicated to taking care of certain champions. But that being said, realistically, this is all you really need to worry about for this build. It's a very basic build, and I can show you this build. You can see it on the screen, and as you see it on the screen, I kind of want to explain my thought process of why this will be decent, because of the artifact and just the way suppressor nades work. Now that we have our abilities can stun champions, suppressor nade is really strong. Volatile rounds are very strong. They break barrier champions. Suppressor nades stun overloads. So not only on top of the boots, you're also gaining suppression from the collective obligation. It is a win-win-win. It is a strong build. You're applying tons of effects, and void effects are some of the strongest in the game, other than like suspend or freeze, at just sheer CC, allowing you to stay alive. Now, the main thing to talk about, what if I don't have collective obligation? And collective obligation isn't the easiest to get. Well, you get a collective obligation from Vow the Disciple raid, and you need the Witch Queen expansion to purchase it. It is not but when it is the weekly featured raid, you can farm it endlessly. So next week, you will be able to farm Vow the Disciple, the last encounter of Rolk, endlessly, and keep getting a chance for this gun to drop. And if you don't have it, a good substitute, but not a main, like, you kind of can't pull this build off without this gun, is like Wave Splitter. Now, you won't be Void Leeching anything, but you will also be applying suppression and volatile rounds when you get it. So like, it is a good substitute for this. Just remember, you are using a double special, and if you're not familiar with the double special, then, you know, maybe look up a video on how to run it. This isn't what this video is for. This is a build video, right? So collective obligation is the mainstay. And you can, like I said, you could substitute out weapons if you need like champion ones or something, and it still be pretty effective. It's just the high impact part of this build is collective obligation, and you'll be able to see it in use on the video. That's kind of all I have for this build. It's very basic. It revolves around secant filaments and collective obligation. There's not much to it. You can kind of switch and swap whatever else you want, but in the video you can see me using it, and the build that I have, I will have a dim link saved for the loadout in the description. Enjoy this little bit. It's not the full deep dive. Hey, these deep dives are pretty cool, aren't they? They're just a little long, but enjoy watching a little bit of the action. It will end after the next phase of this deep dive, so thank you again. stuck around this long, I want to thank you for your time, and I hope you have a great night or morning or wherever you are. And if you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe. And if there's anything you would like to see, let me know.